Hey guys, it's Zaphod here. I'm here with my weekly comic review. You know, since it's Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to try to post this first thing Wednesday morning, which I guess is this morning technically, because I realize usually when I get this done Tuesday night, it's after most of you guys have gone to bed, and more people might see it if I post it earlier. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So first off this week, we had, The Walking Dead. This is issue 128. It says, after all this time, she should be more prepared. So I guess that's the title of this particular issue. This is the second one in, the new story arc where things are very different. It's obvious that a certain amount of time has passed. It is not really specified yet how much time that is, but everyone at the settlement is trying to make adjustments. Their way of life has definitely changed. They're kind of looking to a little bit more sustainable, and they're kind of planning for the future more than they have in the past, which is kind of nice, and they have a really good community. So, and then this issue continues to talk about a little bit the new group who's being brought in. You don't really see them too much, but see them getting interviewed into the community. So, it's pretty cool. Some stuff happens. Next up, we have issue 3 of Shudder. The first couple pages in this are very small panels. It looks like it's a little bit of a play, at least the first couple pages, on Richard Scarry, at least in the character style and a couple other things. Let me know if you agree. Richard Scarry was a huge part of my childhood, so I picked up on it instantly. So anyway, Kate is going possibly back to see the old family home. It'll be interesting to see what happens when she gets there. I'm really, really liking this series so far. It's just such a beautiful and unique world, and it's cool to see that there are humans that also apparently exist in the same world with talking animals and stuff, and I'd love to see more interactions between humans and animals. I see a lot of human-human interaction and animal-animal interaction, but I would love to see the two of them cross a little bit more in the future, and hopefully we have that to look forward to. Next up, we have the Lumberjanes. The Lumberjanes have fallen into a cave, and they have to use their wits and skills to find their way out, and their poor counselor is just knows that they've disappeared, and will they be able to make it? I don't know. Ooh, news on this. Lumberjanes, this was originally supposed to be, I believe, a 6-issue mini. It has now been moved. It is now an ongoing series because of the popularity of it, so yay! That'll be fun to see more Lumberjanes forever. Next up, we have Batman Eternal. For those of you who read last week's issue, there is a special guest staying at the Wayne Manor. It could be someone important from someone's past. Yeah, so I'm not gonna say. I don't want to. This comes out every week. It's hard to assume that you guys are reading it week to week, because I know a lot of people will be picking up it in trades, or they might only pick up their box once every couple weeks or something. So I don't want to spoil something that's happened just a week ago, because that doesn't really give you a lot of time to catch up. I mean, if you've just missed your box for a week, I could already be spoiling something. So, needless to say, it's a pretty good issue, as you can see from the front cover. This is more Professor Pig and these folks around him he calls his farm hands. Ooh, more genetic surgery stuff. That's Professor Pig. That's what he likes to do. Next up, we have Coffin Hill. This is issue 8. This is the first issue in the new story arc, the Dark Endeavors story arc. This issue kind of jumps back and forth from a couple years ago back to when when Eve was still a cop. Goes through her first case on the force, and then it jumps forward to present day, and you see kind of what's happened in the aftermath of the last story arc. Definitely interesting. You get a little bit more, because you in the first arc you get a lot about her as a kid growing up at Coffin Hill. This one you get a little bit more after she's left Coffin Hill and she's trying to make it on her own as a detective. So it's interesting to see the parallels in her life then and now. So I'm definitely still enjoying it on the second story arc. I'll be interested to see. I imagine that they'll go through a little bit more of the first case that she worked on the force. I think that'll probably continue in the next couple issues as part of the story arc, so it might be a little bit more past, present issues as we progress forward in the arc. Who knows, but that's what I'm assuming is going to happen. Next up, we have Detective Comics. This is one of the Bombshell variants of Poison Ivy. I really wanted this CoverGirl statue, but it's $125, and I couldn't quite justify that. So I just got the cover instead, so that's, you know, pretty much the same thing, right? Except for it doesn't look quite as pretty sitting up there. I have another Poison Ivy. I've got one of the Bishuju ones, and she's gorgeous, so I was like, do we need a Bishuju and a CoverGirl? I probably did, but I didn't get it. And that's probably a good investment of money, because, you know, bills are more important than statues. And thus is the way of the world. Anyway, Detective Comics. This issue is really great. There's a couple really cool images that I would love to share with you, but I don't want to spoil it. Just these two, Manipul's art and the Buccolettos, his colors, it's really transformed Detective Comics. I liked it before, really did, but it's just beautiful, and it's just, there's something special about it, and I'm really enjoying reading the first few issues that these guys have done, and it's pretty great so far. Yeah. Next up, we have a new series. This is an Image Top Cow, the Top Cow imprint. This is by Matt Hawkins and Linda Sedgwick. She is one of the two, Linda Sedgwick, she's been around, her husband, Stefan, I have no idea how to say his name, but he does all the stuff. They also work on Sunstone together, on their DeviantArt page, which is kind of amazing, although they don't update it very frequently, because they both have very busy lives, and rightfully so. Anyway, Wildfire, #1. So the idea behind this, this comic is, it discusses the idea of genetically modified organisms, specifically food and crops. This issue discusses a little bit, there's a debate between the benefits of genetically modified foods and the disadvantages and the cons and the potential dangers behind it. So this series is going to kind of go through and kind of show what would happen in a situation like that. The first issue is really good. You see kind of from both sides a little bit, which is nice. You see some scientists working to produce these seeds, and you see some people who are working to stop them and raise awareness that this could potentially be a very disastrous thing. And you never know. Nothing's without consequences, so there are definitely some consequences that we'll find out here in this issue and the upcoming ones, so definitely worth checking out. Art's really cool, story is good so far. If you like either of those people, it's definitely worth checking out. And if you like science or food or, you know, it's good stuff, check it out. Lastly but not leastly, I have issue 2 of The United States of Murder, Inc. by the people who brought you Powers, Bendis and Avon Oming. So in this issue, Valentine has just been made, in the first issue, he was a made man. He now works for the criminal organization that kind of owns a large portion of the United States. Different crime organizations kind of have different territories, and the law just kind of leaves them alone. But Valentine found something out, which puts him in a very unique situation and puts him in a little bit of a dilemma to figure out what he's going to do. But it's an interesting story. I mean, it's a crime story, but it's a crime story in a world where crime is kind of accepted day to day, and he's kind of trying to figure out his own perspective on things, despite what he's been raised with and what he's been brought up to believe. Which is really good. And then actually after this, I will be catching up on Cyclops, issues 1 and 2, and then I will be reading the returning 2, 3, and 4, which came out. 4 came out this week, and then I fell behind, so I'm going to catch up on those 2. And I've heard both are great, so I'm sure it'll be a good night. But I am off to take a bath, and yeah, and then go read some more comics. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy it, I mean, thank you for spending 10 minutes of your life here. Yeah, well, you guys have a good, happy new comic book day, and Oh, last week I finished reading Lock and Key. I had reread the first 4.5 volumes, which is what I had read previously. And then I went through and continued on to the end, and it's so good. I'm so happy with it, and it ended very well. It was amazing. Kind of really great, and if you haven't read it, you definitely should. And I'm happy that I went back and read it from the beginning, because it's been a couple years, and there's definitely a lot of little things, little details that's important to hold on to. And I think if I would have gone back and started at volume 5 and just read volumes 5 and 6, I would have missed out on a lot of little details that I noticed, because as I was going back and rereading, I was talking to my boyfriend. I'm like, oh, did you notice that this also later on? And he's like, no, I didn't, because I haven't read some of that in like 2-3 years. And so I'm very happy I went back and checked that out. Yeah, but that's it for me this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. I already said that. I was going to say have a good night, but since I'm going to post this in the morning, have a great day. Have a happy comic day. Alright, bye guys. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say.